Hello and welcome to another session at the month of Copilot, curated by the Copilot Connection. First of all, I want to thank Kevin and Zoe for this incredible opportunity to be able to conduct a few sessions myself about Copilot. In today's episode, I will be talking about the magic formula of prompting within Copilot for Microsoft 365. And without further ado, let's take a look into the agenda of today. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself really quickly before going into the basics of prompting and what's there is to know about. At the third part, I will be talking about the magic formula itself before elaborating also some hands-on examples within Microsoft 365. And in the end, I will also deliver some tips and tricks around prompting. So, first of all, who am I? My name is Fabio Bonolo. I am a Microsoft 365 consultant and am working in this industry since June 2020, so since the beginning of COVID. My job at the moment is, broad, really broad. I am a consultant at one part, delivering workshop, building teams in SharePoint or collaboration platforms, as well as being a project manager, Scrum Master in Power Platform projects. And at the moment, I am also a Microsoft partner manager, so I'm directly at the source. I do as well have my own blog and conduct some other sessions as a speaker. You see my website below, fabiobonolo.com, where you can visit and subscribe to my blog. It's about Copilot as well. And currently, I am studying for a master's degree in business and IT consulting. So let's dive into the topics or into the topic of prompting with the basics and what should we know about it. So first of all, prompting so far, what I understand is we have or we are writing with keywords instead of whole sentences. For the technicians around you that are listening, prompting comes from the really old world that's called Windows DOS. So their prompting is also a technical expression, but in terms of using it in Copilot, I think of the keyword search and the style of writing that we actually have. I will go into that in a few seconds. Also, what's really important for you to understand is that the output of Copilot is just as good as the input. So the better the prompt, the better is also the response from Copilot. What's also really important that what you should be aware of is that Copilot cannot read minds and cannot form his own opinions. So it is not a chatbot that gives some back questions to you. It only works with the information that you provide. And last but not least, a good prompt is more than just short instructions. So we all know the Microsoft videos where you write one sentence and it gives you a perfect output or a perfect response. But the reality is a little bit different. One sentence is usually not enough for a good prompt. It has to be minimum 2 or 3 sentences. I also saw prompts that are whole pages long, so you can extend it as you like. But in the minimum, a good prompt contains 2 or 3 sentences. Now, I talked about our keyword search style or our writing style. So everybody knows this interface from Google. So we are used to Google or to be Googling. And what we do, we put in keywords. And prompting doesn't work with keywords. So we have to go back to school or like in school and writing sentences, whole sentences. And So our writing habits must change. And what I also saw, yeah, what's also my experience is that in the business world, we often use acronyms. So acronyms, for example, like LOL, laugh out loud, FYI for your information, SAIP for as soon as possible, or EOD for end of day. And here the Copilot doesn't understand, or it does understand the SOC acronyms, of course, but it is not helpful in terms of generating good responses. So as also here, when we are prompting, we should consider not using acronyms. And this slide that I'm showing here is probably the most important one of this session, because the responses of Copilot are just as good as your own prompts. Now, what do I mean by that? You can let yourself guide from the following. The more detailed and precise the prompt, the better Copilot's response. The better Copilot's response, the less manual reworking I have to do. And why is this rule so important? Because we assume that with the support of Copilot and manual reworking, we are faster than if we have to create, summarize, or search for something from scratch. I always say it's called Copilot, not autopilot. Copilot supports you in your daily work and doesn't just take over. So that's something that you should be really aware about. Now, let's dive into the magic formula itself. And here, as I said, we are talking about sentences, and those sentences contain several parts. The first part of the sentence or of the prompt should be the goal. What do I mean by that? This is about the task the Copilot should perform. So you can ask yourself the question while writing the prompt, what should Copilot do? The best way to describe this task is as a verb. The key to a good prompt is the verb at the beginning of the sentence. Here, you tell Copilot what you need from it. Copilot can perform various actions for which you can use the following verbs. For example, check something, transform a document, convert something, adapt, summarize an email thread, generate a PowerPoint presentation, optimize a text, review a concept, etc. The second part of the formula is the specification of the goal. Because often a simple command or a simple sentence is not enough for Copilot to meet your expectations precisely. Therefore, a specification of the command is very important. So here you don't just ask what should he do, but how should he do it? You can think of it like a football game. So I come from the world of football myself, so I often use examples from football. So the coach tells his star striker, today I want you to score 2 goals. That is what the striker should do. So in the analogy of Copilot, that is point 1 of the prompt magic formula, so the goal. The coach can also specify, score 2 goals today, one with your right foot and one header. Just as the striker now has clear instructions, so does Copilot. Therefore, specifying the command or the verb, the goal, is very important. And here you have some examples on how you can do that. So for example, if you want to generate a presentation, you can tell him, generate me a presentation, but with maximum 4 slides or 10 bullet points per slide. Or when you want to generate a text, please generate a text with maximum 2 pages or 300 words. So these are some examples on how you specify a goal in your prompt. Part number 3 of the magic formula is the context. Again, here the same applies. Copilot only picks up what you tell it. And how is it in human conversations? Context is so important. How many celebrities, politicians, or top athletes have been put on the spot because a sentence was quoted in the media and completely taken out of context? This gives the media consuming public that we are a false view of the person or a false view on the matter. And Copilot works astonishingly similar to us humans. If you do not provide context, there is a high chance it will give you incoherent responses because it has a wrong view on the matter. And this is also one of the main reasons for my realization and for this important slide that I showed before. The Copilot is only as good as your prompt. So what does that mean? So here you ask yourself the question, for what should Copilot do it? And you can orient yourself onto two questions that you have to answer in your prompt. First is, for what do you need it? And the second one is, who is involved? Afterwards, I told you that I will give some examples, some prompt examples. And here I will come back to the context in how it looks like in a real prompt. Part number 4 of the magic formula is the source. The big advantage of Copilot for M365 is that it is not only based on the vast amounts of data from the internet, which is partially incorrect, also to say, but especially on the data of your own tenant. So you have the opportunity to specify your own data or documents as a source. Why is this important, you ask? Quite simply. Otherwise, it will search for sources on the web, and you can be pretty sure that it will not give you a satisfactory output. Why would it? It only reacts to the information you provide. Therefore, specifying internal sources is very important. And that is exactly what Teams or SharePoint data is designed for. Copy the file link and paste it directly into your prompt. And here you see it also. Where should he get the information he needed? That's the question you should ask yourself. So as I said, Copilot reacts only to information that you make him available. Links from Teams SharePoint are the best way to give Copilot, give your prompt the needed source. And a small tip from my side, when you add a link, you should separate it with a colon. Last but not least, the last part of the magic formula are your expectations. Now, here you ask yourself, what are your expectations towards the response? You don't have like a structure where you can follow what you should write. So here you are free in your wording. The only thing that you should follow is that you are, or you should be, as specific and precise in your wording as possible. When you get a response with which you are not satisfied completely, don't rewrite your prompt. You can concretize your expectation or your expectations in following prompts. So you can start a conversation with Copilot. And in a nutshell, this is the magic formula of prompting. This is the approach for professional prompting in Copilot for Microsoft 365. You have the goal, the verb, you specify the word, the goal, you give your prompt some context, you add a source, and you concretize your expectations. Now, let's dive in some hands-on examples from within M365. First of all, I have a example from PowerPoint. So you see on the top left, we are doing a prompt for Copilot in PowerPoint. So you see those brackets there. These are not necessary. This is more to structure or to better visualize this slide. When you are writing a prompt, you don't need to use brackets, of course. So first part, please generate a presentation. This is the goal. With a maximum of 20 slides This is the specification. So you see below the different parts. For a workshop on the implementation of Copilot in a Swiss SME with 250 employees. That's the context. Now I want to link this part into what I've said before about the context, that I will give you an example. So when you read this sentence, you see that I answered the two questions. What is it for and who is involved? So it is for a workshop on the implementation of Copilot. That's what it's for. And involved is the Swiss SME with 250 employees. So that's the context that you give. Please use the Word file :link. That's the source. And please generate a maximum of 4 bullet points per slide and apply graphics in order to visualize the text content better. That are your expectations. Now, this is what a good prompt looks like. It has 3 sentences. It is written out in words, no acronyms, no keywords, just whole English sentences. And when you look at this example, what you shouldn't do is a prompt like this: sales presentation for customer XYZ. Don't do that. That's not a good prompt. Let's have a look in another example in Outlook. On the top left, you see we are talking here about Outlook. Please reply to the email. That's the goal. In a professional and friendly tone. That's the specification. So that I can apologize to the person for the inconvenience caused. Also here, I answer the two questions: what is it for and who is involved? Please use my tonality from my previous emails. So here, the source is not like from Teams SharePoint, because Copilot in Outlook has your sources directly in your emails. So he can use your art of writing, your tonality, etc. When generating an email. And you can specify that and label it as a source. And assure the customer that we will have an answer to the problem by this evening. Craft the email in such a way that the customer is reassured and remains positive about our cooperation. These are your expectations. So here, in this example, I just put some more expectations in it. As I said before, I saw prompts that are 1 page long and half of the page are the expectations. So if you look at this example, also here I have something or some example that you shouldn't do. Write an email in which I apologize. That's bad. That's a bad prompt. Don't you dare do that. And now let's go into the last example, which is in Word. Generate me a news article regarding the new entry of John Doe. So John Doe is someone that starts new in our company. That's the goal. Please write a friendly text with maximum of 2 pages. That's the specification of the goal. The article should be published in our intranet. That's the context. You can use the stuff sheet of John, and the link to the stuff sheet, which is, for example, a PDF file or a Word file. That's the source. Give John a warm welcome to the company and formulate the text in such a way that employees learn more about John and get a positive image of him. That's your expectations. Also here, what you shouldn't do is a prompt like that. Write a news article to welcome John Doe to the company. It looks nice, it's a short sentence, but don't do that, because the responsive Copilot will not make you satisfied. I will guarantee that. So these are the examples for prompts using the magic formula or the structure of the magic formula. And now we can have a look on what else there is to know about Copilot. So here I have some tips and tricks for you. First, If you are not satisfied with the result after the first prompt, then follow up and specify your expectation in a second or third prompt until you get the desired result instead of completely rewriting the prompt. The second one, know the limitation. Copilot is limited to your current conversation in the currently open tool, so in Teams, Outlook, etc. So make sure to mention as many details as possible in your prompts. The AI can only react to the commands and content you capture in your prompt. Always be aware of this fact when using Copilot. Quotation marks and also closing marks help highlight important points of your prompt for Copilot. Ideally, put the sentence part or word in the quotation marks that Copilot should create, adjust, or replace. Avoid typos. So the LLM, so the large language model, is programmed to follow current grammar rules and has only limited spell check capabilities. To be absolutely sure about your prompts, I recommend checking your prompts for typos before submitting them. Also think here about the acronyms that I told you in the beginning of the session. And the last one, a tip to make you giggle, but still true, stay friendly. Using a friendly tone has been proven to improve Copilot's responses. Interact with it as you would with your colleagues at work and increase your chances of getting a good answer to your prompt. For me, the situation is very clear. Adoption is the success factor. Because in practice, we are not talking about a technical implementation here. No, Copilot works entirely on the classic plug and play approach. So if you license Copilot, you just wait like 10 or 20 minutes and the icon appears in your Microsoft 365 apps. Without a doubt, it is a change project. If you fail to enable your employees to change their search and writing behavior, you cannot efficiently utilize the absolutely brilliant advantages of Copilot, and the price performance ratio will not be high. Also, what's really important is that the data must be ready, the data quality in terms of governance and also security. So nobody should be able to find something that should not be found. However, if you invest heavily in prompt engineering, as in the writing and search behavior of your colleagues, and stay on it, then acquiring and using Copilot is an absolute no-brainer now and in the future. And below, you see a path or a step-by-step guide how you adopt Copilot. So first of all, you should identify the personas working in your company or seemingly, yeah, good to be able to use Copilot. So people from HR, sales, marketing, finance, IT, and so on. Then you should think about the activities they have. So for example, I take a salesperson. He always have to generate a PowerPoint presentation for a pitch. And the third part are the pain points because he always struggles to structure the presentation, or he struggles to put some good graphics in it because he's not a good graphic designer. So these are the pain points. And then this is your use case. So staying at the salesperson, the use case is Copilot in PowerPoint could help generate sales pitches. And on that, you develop the prompt. And in the end, you have a prompting library based on the magic formula that I just provided to you. And so other salespeople can use the same prompts because it's a use case that has a scaling effect. Yeah, and that's my part from the magic formula of prompting. We reached the end of this session. So thank you very much for staying on, and I hope that you have gained one or another takeaway that you can directly use in your daily work. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to Copilot Connection. And thank you very much. And see you next time. Bye.